Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of my podcast called Trust the Process. So today I thought I would bring you guys up about financial literacy, being that April is Financial Literacy Month. So the topic of today's podcast is what to do after you get the bag, financial literacy. Today I have two wonderful gentlemen here joining me today. I have Mr. Devin Barnes and Desmond Haygood. They are the co-owners of the Supreme Financial Consultancy Group, where they specialize in financial services and the credit repair. They strive to assist those who are aiming for a brighter financial future. Hey guys, how are y'all doing today?
All right, how about yourself? Thank you for having us.
Oh, no problem. Pretty awesome. I just want to say when I started looking up financial advisors and investments, I saw that you guys were first off a black owned business. So that's the first thing. And secondly, I actually went to school with you guys. So I trust your expertise a lot. So you guys were the easiest choice for me.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Belcher.
Better hall, right? Definitely. So can you guys give us a little bit about your company, how you guys got into financial investment and credit repair?
I'll say initially, I went into the financial program, financial services area since I graduated in 2017 from South Carolina State. Wanted to go to grad school, but decided, actually, let's try to do something that I actually care about. Actually, it was actually home with me a little bit. Family insurance issue, people dying, underinsured or retirement plans is kind of bad. So I actually had a purpose. Okay, let me try to help my family out a bit. Got into the industry, not thinking what it was going to be, and got into it actually on a purpose, and led to my friend here. We really close friends, and then conversations kept going and going, and I brought him along with me.
Devin introduced me kind of to like the insurance and the investing realm of things.
Okay.
When he first started out, and then we talked in I think like 2019. And I had kind of already started like getting some credit things situated. Started learning a little bit, started helping some of my family members here and there. And in 2020, in June, we decided to partner together and create Supreme, because what we seen from both of our experiences was that it was a lack of financial literacy in our communities with our peers and with the older generation also. So that's what Supreme really strives for. We attempt to educate people on a lot of things that we don't hear on a general basis, on an everyday basis. So that's how we got here.
That is so perfect. I love this. And that's actually part of the reason why I started the Trust the Process. Is really about Black entrepreneurs and dropping those gems that we've kind of been holding back a little bit. Either like we don't want to share it, or we just don't have that platform. So I feel like this is just a great way to put it out there, especially in the Black community. We don't talk about finances like a lot. If you do, it's like minimal. You know what I mean? So just being able to have that conversation to say, hey, like, this is how you do this is how you fix your credit, all of those things that we kind of are like, we'll get to it later. Like now is the time to do it, especially while you're young, because by the time you're 30 and 40, it's a little too late for that, right?
Catch up, right? Catch up at that point.
I will say that the unofficial start date for Supreme was Juneteenth. We actually was having a conversation. Hey, lack of knowledge, uninsured, things is going on in the world. It's like, you know what, man, let's go do something. Right. Like all right. Somebody asked us, okay, during 2020, 2019, when things going crazy, what did you do for your community? And it's like, well, bam.
But even like you said, Aaron, just with things in our community, we have like a we'll get to it later approach. But like we're becoming the old heads and like the people that the kids are looking up to now. So we have to have our things up to par. So like we are starting that new generation off the right way, because we can't fault them for the things that we're not teaching them. We had to learn it. So like now let's pass it along and get them right. That's another big thing of ours also. It's just getting that next generation in a better spot than we were.
Definitely. And since we're talking about generations and generational wealth, I do have a question for you guys. How do you create generational wealth in the Black community?
Well, I'll let you say it's very, very broad. There's a lot of different approaches. More than one way to skin a cat, of course. A lot of people organized success program, but I'm a strong advocate. And number one thing you have to do is save. Emergency saving is big. We always had at least one grandparent who maybe have decided to throw money on their mattress. to me, I call it the rainy day fund emergency saving. That has to be the first and foremost thing you do. 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9 months of emergency saving. What happens if you lose your job, you get sick, or if COVID happened and things shut down for 3 to 6 months, like it did, right? That's initially the first thing that has to happen. Then life insurance. Whatever it is, whether it's on your job, outside your job, life insurance. That's the easiest way to create generational wealth and tax free. I mean, you know, there's of course someone has to pass away for that, but that's also one of the easiest ways. But that's part of the step process I take with clients: emergency savings, life insurance, and then to the investing and retirement piece. But those two have to be touched before you do investing.
Gotcha. I will say I used to work in sales. So the biggest thing they taught us was like have at least 6 months of all of your bills saved up just in case like you're making the money anyway. So just put it over there and, worry about it a little later. So Desmond, for you, how does credit play into the generational wealth in the Black community?
Credit part us. One of the biggest things, depending on who you talk to, as far as investing and creating wealth, is real estate. And to get into real estate, you need good credit. If you have multiple properties, your name will be on multiple properties. What a lot of people probably don't understand are we have a spike right now in small businesses booming. So in 2020 with COVID, we had the small business loan that was introduced to us. A lot of people applied for it and some people did not receive it. And a big part of that was they checked your credit when you apply for the small business loan. So even something like that we're not thinking about our credit, but when you try to get these certain type of loans and different things like that, you need credit. You need your credit to be at least a 620, 640 range in general for most things. And that's your FICO scores. We get the Credit Karma apps and different things like that. That gives us a good baseline. But in general, we want to be on FICO scores. And you can get that off FICO, and you can also get that off of the Experian app. But credit plays a huge part of generational wealth, even if you want to build up a side hustle, as far as in bigger cities like New York and Miami and things like that, LA, they have this thing to where you can rent your cars to like your expensive cars to out of towners. Like that's a way to build wealth because it's passive income. But to get those cars, if you don't have $100,000 for a luxury car, you need credit. So just like that, like just creating passive income, just using credit, like that's a big thing.
Got it. Okay. No, that definitely makes sense because they always do tell us credit is everything, but we really don't figure that out till we're trying to get that apartment, that car, and you're like, oh wait, I can't get what I want to get because I don't have any credit. I didn't build any credit. So that kind of segues us into our next question, Desmond. I know you do the credit side, but what are some ways that you can actually build your credit when you don't have any,
So two things right now. If you have a parent or if you have I would say a parent or a sibling that you trust and they already have some credit established, what you can do is what we don't understand is you can do what you call an authorized user. So if they have a credit card in their name, you can piggyback off of their credit. All they have to do is add you to their credit card. And you'll get all the positive benefits. A card will come with your name on it, but you don't have to use it. They can just get the card, activate it, and cut it up. And then, so that's something that we definitely need to do with like our 18-year-olds, 19-year-old college students. Just if you have a sibling or something like that, just put them on your credit card while you're building your credit, and then they'll get the gains from it. So when they're 22, 23, what we experienced was we went to go get these apartments and they're running our credit, So you have to start really building it early. And another thing, if you have student loans, a lot of us want to get rid of them, but student loans builds credit. If you make your on-time payments, that's really our first sign of credit. So make sure you take care of your student loans. If you're a new graduate, you have 6 months until they start deducting the payments from your paycheck. So call your loan provider, set that up. That's a big way. Another thing is they have certain programs. I think you'll have to Google these things. So you can, a lot of us are renting. A lot of millennials are renting. I think we're renting more than any generation before us, like apartments and things. So you can actually pay certain services that will report your rent payments, your on-time rent payments. They sometimes, some of them will go back a year or 2 years. So that's two things you can do. The third thing you can do is you can get yourself a secure credit card. That teaches you the responsibility of credit. And it's secure because you have to put a payment down. So you have to put $200 or $300 on it to secure it. What you want to do with that is use it monthly, just pay some small bill, gas, food, but keep it under 20% of your limit. And if you do that, you will start to see that your credit bills month to month. And do not miss any payments. Like whatever you do, Stay on top of all payments. That's a big thing. Doctor bills, that kills us. Just different things like that. Do not miss any payments. Cell phone, whatever. Stay on top of
it. Yeah, I think definitely when it comes to staying on top of that payment, if you add it into your budget, that will definitely help you stay on top of it because you already have it like penciled in. Because I'm old school, I kind of like to have my little budget laid out on my little phone, you know, with the percentage and everything. So I already know, like, okay, I need this much for this much, just to, you know, help me stay on top of it. Okay, so for the folks out there that need help rebuilding their credit, what kind of advice can you give to the people that are struggling? They're like, I'm struggling, I'm trying to rebuild, but I don't know where to start. Where can you go with that?
Shameless. I would first tell them to contact Supreme, and we can do a consultation for them, and we can look into their credit profile and just tell them areas that we feel like they could use us in. They may not need us, but it might be some small things. But in general, I would say order your credit report. You get one free credit report each year from annualcreditreport.com. You can go on there. It will give you your credit report from all three credit bureaus, TransUnion, Experian, and also Equifax. Look at your credit report, see what's on there. If you have any collections, do not pay them straight out because what happens is you restart the clock on that. So contact a professional. Supreme is we're certified in life insurance, and we're also certified in credit repair. So call us, set up a consultation with us. We'll tell you what the best option is for your credit. Also rebuilding, let's say if you don't really have much on there, a great way to rebuild is a secure credit card. So really the biggest thing is to understand, because you will be amazed at how many people just don't understand what's on the credit report because they never look at it. So just like you said, the traditional way, get it in paper, look at it, see something. If you see something, a report came out about 3 years ago that says about 78% of credit reports have some error in them. So that's a huge number. So 8 out of 10 times, something may be wrong in your credit report. And if something is wrong, you have the right to dispute that and have it removed. So that's a big part of rebuilding and fixing your credit.
Okay, that was some good little gems you was dropping. Okay, I see the credit repair, and I like how you put the plug in there about your business. That's all I'm saying.
And we don't support us too well.
Listen, that's what I'm saying, dude. The plug. Okay, alrighty. So Devin, I do have a good question for you. So how do you go about finding a good financial advisor or investor? Like, how do you go about that? Of course, call you guys, but you know.
I'm going to also piggyback off of Desmond. The biggest importance is find someone who's truly certified to do it. They're telling you, we're strong advocates on being certified. Like, you don't have to be certified in credit, do credit. You don't have to be certified in a lot of things to go. You know, there's a lot of financial coaches out there. There's a lot of people who have great knowledge when it comes to investing, but are they certified? Like, if, you know, is it their job? Like, I'm certified in life insurance, securities. I can provide all of that, retirement plan. So to me, it's not just me giving you the idea. It's someone who's actually certified for this. I've studied for this. I do training every year for this. This is my job. I'm actually certified to do this. Not me, not Supreme someplace else. Or FINRA, SEC, that's a legit thing. It's government, right? So that's a true financial advisor. They would be on there. They show what certification they have, what they're licensed to do, or they're licensed to talk about this. So I would say your research, your homework, look up the companies that person worked for. If they say they're a financial advisor or they're in the financial industry, you can Google their name and they pop up on FINRA or the SEC. And that's number one. Then you look at their company page. And so, yeah.
The thing with being certified is I don't think you would trust a lawyer that didn't pass the bar. Like, that's what kind of certified comes in at. Like, we don't discourage people who aren't certified, but if you are giving service to a people, you should put the work in to actually, you know, give them that work. So that's our, like, if you wouldn't trust a lawyer that didn't pass the bar, you wouldn't trust a doctor that didn't go to med school or a dentist that did not go to dental school. Like, that's the thing that certified like helps you with. And so, and then like you get a bad name sometimes. You get a bad taste in your mouth when you go to someone who, you know, that may be cutting some corners and different things like that. So just make sure they're certified and have that conversation, and make sure it's somebody you can trust. If you can't trust them, like, just walk away, step away. But just make sure it's somebody you can trust, because your finances are important. Like, this is the most important thing in your life. Like, you're working your life to provide for yourself and your kids and people after you and things like that.
And I'll back to that. Take the Black community with using life insurance or the retirement plan at their job or even annuities. You know, a while ago, we did have a lot of people that looked at us in the industry. So you're hearing things that you just getting told to do this, do that, you're not understanding, getting educated on. You just doing, you know, it's a sales. It is sales, but it's a people's relationship based business, right? I say your product, that's fine, but if you don't know why you're getting that product, you don't understand why you're getting this insurance, you don't understand why you're investing in this, you don't feel like you can call me, hey Devin, something's going on. That's the issue, right? I feel my clients be able to call me my business phone, text me my cell phone. I was gonna say call me my business phone, but I'm here. I'm a friend. I'm part of your family. I'm trying to help you build yourself.
Right.
Right. And I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was saying relationship based. That's where it starts with us.
I'm saying no, I definitely any type of businesses for me that are relationship based always end up working out the best way, because at the end of the day, they are based around people and being involved in someone else's life. Like they legitimately become your family. So it's definitely a better way to find someone that you trust that way, especially when you have that type of relationship with them. All right. So next question for you guys. So Devin, I know you guys have like an Instagram page, and I saw you post something about, can you save your way to retirement? So can you save your way to retirement, or what are some other options that you can give yourself for retirement?
Yes. Yes. So saving, retirement, and investment are very broad terms that we just think about when we think about saving. We think about your savings account. You think about investing. You think about a stock. You know, initially it all starts from your emergency savings, having a budget, right? That's where it starts, because you can't save for retirement or invest. You don't have a budget, don't know what's coming in, what's going out. You know, so if you're going to save, you know, you got to be able to what can you say? You don't know what your emergency savings is going to be, or 3 to 6 months, if you don't know what your monthly expenses are. Then you can know, okay, what can I invest to? How much can I afford to comfortably invest in? That's where it starts from. You know, investing, whatever you can start on. Some people start $50 a month, $20 a month, $300 a month. It's about starting. It's not about how much you can increase it, but just over time. Starting today at $20 a month until you get to age 50, you can do a lot more than wait until you get to age 30 and invest $200 a month, right? Just compound interest, building and building. So you have to just start the day with whatever you're doing. For us, the biggest thing is starting with your retirement plan at your job. If you're working at McDonald's, you know you're not gonna be there forever. It doesn't matter. Just start today, because it continues to build. So retirement savings, on your retirement plan, Roth IRAs. I'm a strong advocate to that. And just your emergency savings. Very, very important.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think sometimes when we get that, like our little benefits packet at work, and you're like, oh my God, I'm making money, right? But we don't really think about the whole like investing thing, because we're like, we're 20, 23, 24, 26, and it's like
next year.
But yeah, you have to start.
Right. Another thing to that too is like, so even when you do get your retirement plan and your things get from the HR or someone comes, so I actually work with Prudential. Prudential they're like, they do retirement plans. So let's take we in Columbus, South Carolina, so a lot of hospitals here, Prudential does their retirement plans. Mm-hmm. It's different departments. So, you know, people from Prudential will tell you, this your 401k, you can do this, you can do that, but they can't advise you on what to do. It just set you up with it. So it's generic. So you still need you need somebody to talk to. So that you have to start. So yes, but you still have to get help, extra help. You know, we us as men, especially, we don't like asking for help. This
is true.
We're my voice clients, man. It's like, hey, ask for help. You don't understand? Let me know. I can't teach you something you don't know if you don't tell me. So we got to ask.
But even what he said, what he was just saying as far as like retirement, like if you don't understand it, like. That's what Supreme is so special about Supreme. Like we build relationships. So I take more consultations than I have actual clients. Just people calling in and asking me just the simple, like what they feel like is simple, but the day before they didn't know the answer. So, like don't feel ashamed to reach out. Like it might not be us. It might be somebody that you trust that's in the financial realm. Just send that DM, send that text message. Just be like, hey, what do I need to do? X, Y, and Z. And hopefully they get you the answer or they get you to the right person. Like that's what we're big on. Like people call me all the time asking me about life insurance. I'm like, hey, you need to talk to Devin. Like that's not my, but I'm man enough and I'm smart enough to admit like that's Devin's strong suit. Like I can get you an appointment with him and he's going to give you the breakdown and he get people on credit and he send them my way. Like that's what it's about. Like, it's about sharing information, and we don't charge you a dime to do this. It's just
knowledge,
your knowledge and like relationship, right?
Knowledge, right? That's the biggest downfall of knowledge, lack of knowledge. So if it's here, I would talk to a random guy at a restaurant on the side of. Yeah, it's wealth, man. Knowledge is wealth. So.
Yeah, I think when it comes to, especially you all's arena, like, even though, like you said, you don't have as many clients as you do get phone calls like, hey, how do you do this? It's just about like taking the extra mile to reach out, especially when you know that you're not versed in something. I think like in our community, that's one thing that we don't do, men or female, because we think sometimes I think I'm superwoman and I know it all. Okay, and sometimes I have to be humble enough to say, hey, like, listen, I'm struggling. This is what I'm struggling with. Financial stuff is not my arena. So let me go ahead and, and give somebody a call. Like you guys, hey, Supreme. Hey. Let me go ahead and give someone a call that I actually trust and that I know is going to take care of me as if I'm their family, So definitely. All right, guys, we're getting close to the end almost. So I do have another question. What is your philosophy on investment? I think that was a big one that a lot of people were asking.
Okay. Well, I would say the biggest thing is the biggest thing that I see that's really important right now is understanding your risk tolerance, understanding what you're investing for. You can't just invest because you want to invest. You got to have a purpose. Like, why do you want to invest? You want to retire early. You want to buy a house for your kids. That's important. You got to have a reason to invest. Secondly, understanding what is out there. It's okay to have, Tesla or Ford stock, but if you can't afford it because it's not aligned with your budget, why are you looking at that? There's a lot of, I would say cheaper. There's a lot of things out there when coming to investing that's better than stocks. Mutual fund. I'm a strong advocate for mutual funds and ETFs. They're less risk averse. They're very diverse for the young investors like us who life is going to change like this. So it's better for you to do that monthly investment when looking into mutual funds. So I'm a strong advocate of mutual funds. I use mutual funds a lot better than stocks. So that's what I like. So
yeah, I'm more in the like I said, one, real estate, and then two, I like for people to invest in themselves. So, and when I say that is, if you like, especially men. So if you're only working 40 hours a week or something, like, get you a second gig, like get you something, a little part-time gig, so that you do have money to do the things that Devin are saying. Like, it's hard to kind of do all of the things that Devin is saying just from one stream of income. So like, especially our generation, I think our generation we're good at, a lot of us are hustling. Like, we got other things going on. So like, create some other forms of income. It might be something small. It might not be your own business. Everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur, but just pick up something on the side and then live off your primary income. And then that secondary, like, go invest. Like, don't just go buy jewelry, cars, all this thing. Like, put that money somewhere, put it in the stock market, put it in real estate, just different things. Like, invest in yourself, because like, we're young now, but this time goes fast, and you don't want to look back and be like, hey, I should have, could have, would have. And it's like, no, like, while we have the energy and we have the time and less responsibilities now, like, put that work in. And so that's my philosophy on those type of things. Like,
okay, so I have to say, I love the invest in yourself part. That was like a little sauce right there. But no, seriously though, because once we invest in ourselves, like, whatever we're doing, we can actually gain from it, whether it's monetary gain or just a wealth full of knowledge. Like, you never know what you're going to gain from that side hustle, that side business, or that can even be your outlet to get away from what you actually have going on in your life. And it just so happens to make you money. So I think that's a great point, as well as taking that money and just investing it, putting it to the side instead of spending it on buying that bag that we want to get, those shoes that come out, right?
To piggyback off you sparked a thought. Like, I think COVID showed us like the importance of having that side hustle, because especially in our community, we were some of the first people to get laid off. Yep. I think most of us have jobs, we don't have careers. So we've seen a lot of our peers get laid off, and so it's like, right. And that was like really kind of how Supreme was birthed. We just seen like an avenue of like education and things like that in that time period, because like 2020 was tough on a lot of us. So if you have that extra security, it might not be your primary, but it might just get you a little further. That's how you create your savings. All the things that Devin is saying, those come from that secondary, because like COVID showed us like none of these jobs are promised to any of us. Like, and it was tough, like you're used to something and just a pandemic hits and all of a sudden
the world stops.
Where to go? Yeah. Yep. So
It literally stops. Yeah, I agree. COVID has taught me a lot. Like I work in sales, so I was like, ooh, okay, all right. So no, I definitely understand. And just having that second little, so I always had like a second little side thing. Even for me, I liked it, but it was just something I did well. So that gave me a lot more wiggle room. And I'm like, okay, wiggle room, extra plus. There we go, that wiggle room, right? And I'm not gonna lie, like for me, I even saved a lot during the pandemic. So I was like, oh, thank you. So thankful because I know some people weren't able to do that, but I was just like, oof.
Yeah.
Sheesh. All right. So I have the last question for you. Well, this is for Desmond, not you, Devin. Sorry. I'm done with you now. No, I'm just kidding. What are some common things that we want to avoid when it comes to our credit?
The number one thing is protect your personal information. I mean, I'm licensed, different things like that. Your social is big. Protect those at all costs. A big thing that we do is we go into a car dealership and we don't have any idea what we're going into. We just tell them, hey, I want this car. And they'll say, hey, give me your social. And we give them my social. And what they're doing is they're funneling your credit profile to multiple banks. So that's why sometimes you'll go get a car and your credit score go down 20 to 30, 40 points because they have hit all of these different banks asking, can they approve you for a loan? It's the same thing with furniture stores, just different things like that. So the biggest thing we can do to avoid those things is know your credit. Like just what we talked about earlier is know your credit profile, know your credit score. So when you go into these places, you can tell them, hey, this is where I am credit wise. And what can you do for me with this credit score? Like, do not give them your social or anything until they tell you what they can do to you. Like, don't let them just say, hey, we can see, like, their metrics are in place. Like, they know you need a 620, a 640, a 660. Like, just so know your information when it goes there. Like, know how much you have for your down payment, just different things like that. Like, do not go in these places unprepared because they take advantage of the unprepared and the misinformed. So those are like two of my biggest things, and medical bills. Like I see that in our community a lot. You may go get a service and they may send you a bill on the back end. Just because you left and you paid something at the desk, that doesn't mean that you don't have more to come. So pay attention to your mail and then take care of that other bill on the back end because it happens. It happens to the best of us, honestly. It happens to the best of us.
You said pay attention to your mail. All right, I don't know why because I will say we are bad at checking the mail. If it doesn't come in the email, oh man, listen, okay. So no, I definitely get it. Well, thank you guys so much for all of that sauce and those gems that you were dropping. Because I've learned a lot, and just like having this financial talk, I feel like, oh my god, like I got some stuff to work on myself. Okay. So I really appreciate you guys being here with me on this Sunday night. Is there anything else that you guys want to add before I close this out?
Well, yeah, I just reiterate the point is make sure you do have a budget. You can start it if it's just using a pencil and a paper, man. Just write down what you got coming in every month. Know what you got coming in. Know your bills that you have to pay, rent, cell phone bills, all that. Like have a budget. If you want to get fancy, use a sales sheet. You know, you can go a lot of bank apps now have budget. That's first and foremost. You want to know what you have or what you need for emergency savings without a budget. You really shouldn't be investing. You don't have a budget. Or you shouldn't be out here going on trips, getting flu without a budget, right? That's first and foremost. You shouldn't be trying to buy anything else if you don't know you can't afford it.
Right. My thing would be pass information along. So as we learn, it's our responsibility to pass that information along, whether it's to our friends, our parents, because you will be amazed at the things that we learn on a day-to-day basis, the person beside us doesn't know. So they might share something with you. Even like, yeah, me and Devin talk all the time and he'll tell me something. I'm like, okay, like just pass information. And like the more we talk and have these conversations, the better we get. Like the biggest thing is just pass information. So if you receive something from this thing, like research it and then pass it along to the next person. Like forward this link to somebody. Like keep the information flowing so that we're all on par. Like I'm big on like the circle of five. Like look at the four people surrounding you, and that will tell you where you are and where you're going. So that's one big thing for me. Like just pass information.
I'm definitely with the past information. Last thing I promise. I'm definitely with the past information just because like we miss certain things when we are being selfish. And it's like you could have helped that one person. That was that one nugget that you needed. And because you didn't do your job, you did not help that person. So you don't want your blessings to be delayed because you did not pass that information along. So I definitely think like sharing information and just helping someone out, it doesn't cost you anything. Just having that kindness, just to say, hey, I see you over there. Let me help you out real quick. Just so that way, nobody's missing out on the good stuff. Okay.
Cost anything.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much again for joining me. And I do have a little special surprise for you. So I actually have a really wonderful sponsor. Her name is Decoutured. So you guys have officially been Decoutured. It is actually your logo on the major. Wow. Yeah, it's got a little lid and everything.
Thank you to you and your sponsor.
Thank you. Her name is Decoutured. You can follow her on Instagram. She does anything that I do, like custom wise. She does it for me. She's amazing, and she's my line sister, so I had to help out the Reds.
How was that on Instagram? How's our IG?
It is. I have a bag for you. Yeah. There you go. Decoutured. Okay. Right. There you go. Yeah.
Well, for anybody to find us on social media, I'm Des Haygood, DezHaygood. He is.
Oh, man, I just changed my name, so I really don't. _.
Okay, yeah. And our company page is Supreme FCG Group. So that's Supreme FC Group. That's where you can find us. Our website, you can Google us, Supreme Financial Consulting Group. We're just here to help. We're here to assist. Even if you just need a free consultation, just tap in with us.
We love to share any knowledge we do have. We don't have it, I'm sure we can find it for you.
And we thank you, Ms. Pitt, honestly, for having us. Like we know you're going to be successful in this podcast game. Everything you touch is gold. So we appreciate you just reaching out to us to be your first guest. So
thank you guys so much. I enjoy having you all. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that is going to watch this video later. Make sure you tune in next time to see who my next Black entrepreneur will be. I don't know. I guess we got a way to find out. See you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.